kids, it's a Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Welcome to Great Bissenden. It's quite a nice day today. Great to be out on a bike again, and really excited because at long last I'm on a bike that I've been waiting to ride for ages and ages. I've been pleading with Tramp to get them to lend me one, and I'm glad to say yesterday they did, because at the moment what I'm on is my new long-term loaner from those nice guys at the Tramp factory, and that is the new 2017 Street Triple RS. Really excited to get to know the bike over the next few weeks. I've ridden it so far for about 100 miles. As I say, I got it yesterday from the Tramp factory up at Hinckley, so it was a 100-mile run back. So this is very much my first impressions review, so stick around, stay tuned for the next few minutes, and I'll tell you my initial impressions of the fantastic, there's a little clue, 2017 Tramp Street Triple RS. So to start with, I have to you know, put all my cards on the table and just say that I am perhaps slightly biased because I own a Street Triple myself. I have a 2012 Street Triple that I bought brand new, obviously back in 2012. I absolutely love the bike. I ride it pretty much every day. I still have it, so that's why I've been really excited to ride the new bike. Other than my own Street Triple, this is the only other Street Triple I've ever ridden, so that's kind of my reference where I'm coming from, if you like. So what about this 2017 bike then? I mean, Triumph have done all sorts of stuff to this bike to improve it. This is, as I say, the RS, which is the top of the line machine, and as such it's got stonking brakes, it's got Brembo M50s, proper superbike brakes as far as I'm concerned. It's got Ohlins adjustable suspension on the rear, it's got big piston forks, the Showa big piston forks at the front, exactly the same as on my Panigale. So it really has, from a mechanical point of view, it's had all the good kit thrown at it. Not only that, this year for the first time Triumph have thrown a brilliant electronics package at this bike. I'm just being a little bit careful here because I'm behind this police speed camera. I'm sure they don't measure speeds while you're riding, but nonetheless there's not a tempt fate, and I hope it's going to go right. Yeah, so they've thrown an electronics package at it which has all the stuff you'd expect, and not only that, oh, he's going right, how annoying, but it also has this incredible TFT display just here, which looks amazing and is laden with functions, and I think is probably worth a video in itself. So I'll go through the detail of that TFT display in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime then, what are my initial impressions of this bike? Well, the first thing that strikes me as I ride this new Street Triple RS is the great familiarity of the bike. The seating position is lovely and comfortable. Your legs are bent at a bit of an angle. You know, you're tucked up in quite a sporty position as far as your legs are concerned, but you're not canted forward much at all. You're sitting pretty much upright, and you know, as a fella that's getting on in years, it makes for a very comfortable ride, a proper, you know, upright ride, but not you know, not sporty, if that makes sense. So I really like the riding position, exactly the same as my old Street Triple, to be fair. So it feels very familiar in that respect. What doesn't feel familiar is the suspension. This bike, I mentioned, it's got top spec Ohlins suspension at the rear and the Showa big piston forks on the front, and it really has transformed the handling and suspension on this bike. It just handles like something else now. I really do love what they've done to that. It's top work by the Triumph engineers. The other thing the bike hasn't lost is any of its cheekiness. It's got that amazing triple engine and it sounds just brilliant. Let's just open it up briefly here. Not too much. This is another of our friends. And the quick shifter works beautifully. So she's lost none of that naughtiness that we all love the Triumph Street Triple for. Now this bike has got standard cans on it, so I'm sure it could be made to sound even more raucous if you wanted it to, but as standard, those cans just sound lovely. A lot of the noise that you hear is actually induction noise. It's air being sucked into the engine rather than the bark of internal combustion itself. The seat, pretty comfortable. Just sort of assess that with my cheeks now. Yeah, it's plush. It's not. The seat is nice. It's not hard at all. That together with the riding position, you could ride this bike all day long and there'd be no fatigue whatsoever, or very little. You could tour on this bike quite easily. Height wise, the bike isn't particularly tall, very easy to ride. If I put my feet down now, I can get them both pretty much flat on the floor. I'm only 5'8", I'm not a tall fella, and there's absolutely there's nothing difficult about riding the street triple. Right, let's go down one of my favourite daily routes. This route has a bit of everything. Now, one of the complaints that I've made occasionally about my older street triple is that the handling, it feels like in corners it wants to tip in. That might just be down to the setup of my particular bike, or maybe my tyres or whatever, but it's just, the handling is just something a bit odd about the way it corners, whereas this bike, it just feels really beautiful. You can chuck it around the corners, and it's completely confidence inspiring. The tyres are superb. You can just feel the levels of grip through them. You know all the time what the wheels are doing, and it really is a lovely ride. I'm surprised how plush it is, because you know, on other bikes like this that I've ridden, usually the suspension just feels very stiff and it wants to bounce you out the seat. But this one, which is just set up as it came out of the factory, I would describe the ride as plush. Really, really nice. The engine now, of course, is the 765 triple, and Triumph really know how to do their triple engines. It's what they're famous for. And this one has just got loads of urgency and grunt, coupled together with the intoxicating noise from it and the amazing quick shifter that they fitted on this bike. Makes for a really fun ride. The brakes, as I mentioned, are the Brembo M50s, which, as far as I'm concerned, are the sort of de facto superbike brakes. They are the brakes to have, and they feel absolutely amazing. The stopping power on this bike is awesome. Just as good as its going power, in fact. From a practical point of view, Triumph have fitted these bar end mirrors, and they not only do they look really good, but they work really well as well. I've come across these same mirrors on some of the other retro bikes that Triumph are building these days. The bike as standard comes with them sort of outboard. It just makes the bike a bit wider. I found it a bit difficult to manoeuvre the bike on the driveway with them out, because they sort of get in the way of your wrist. So I'll flip these inboard because I think they look better that way. But actually inboard they also work absolutely fine. I'm not looking at my elbows all the time. I've got a great view behind. They work really well. So the mirrors, not only do they look good, but they work well. This TFT display I mentioned, it's really clear, and it's all sorts of configuration options and so on it. There's a lot to go through on that, so I've studied the manual, and in a future video I think I might just do a video on the TFT display alone and take you through what that can do. So if you're interested, stay tuned to the channel, and I'll do that video in a few days' time. Okay, what I need to do then is stop and show you around this bike. I love the way there's no doubt that you're in neutral on this big screen. You've got the big N there showing you're in neutral. I love that. Okay. Okay. So here she is then, the 2017 Triumph Street Triple RS. Long awaited, much anticipated. Can't wait to get to know the bike over the next few weeks. Let me show you around some of the features then on this bike. I'll just get the other camera out so I can give you a bit of a better view. Okay, so here she is then, the 2017 Triumph Street Triple. This is the RS model. It's the top spec one. It's the one that obviously Triumph wants to show off, and beggars can't be choosers. I'm glad to try this. An amazing bike. I already have fallen in love with it, as you can tell. But in terms of the specs, let me just talk you through what this bike offers. As I mentioned, 765cc inline triple engine. It's what Triumph are good at. Puts out 121.2 bhp at 11,700 rpm and 77 newton meters of torque at 10,800. Suspension wise, I've already mentioned a couple of times the upside down front forks, the shower ones. Got one of those horrible Euro 4 reflectors on there, that would have to come off, but you know, substantial forks on there, and they are adjustable as well by adjusters on the top of the yokes there as usual. The only thing I would say is the adjusters are right underneath the you know, the handlebars and the cable in there, so to actually get your screwdriver in there would be a bit of a faff, I think, but they are adjustable. I'm sure you can get at them. Those front brakes I mentioned, the Brembos, I think these are the M50s. They just look stonking, and I notice there's a little Brembo logo on the disc as well, just to make the point that these are proper brakes. In terms of the rears, we've got the baby Brembos on here, the Bi-Bray single pot caliber. The rears work absolutely fine as well. And then underneath there we've got that amazing Ohlins suspension unit that was developed specifically for this bike and gives such a plush ride on the machine. It's really, really lovely. Okay, back to the specs then. Dry weight, 166 kilograms, so, you know, really, really light, and that's one of the things that has always appealed to me about the Street Triple, is its lightness. So 166 kilograms dry weight. Tank capacity, 17.4 litres. Quite a reasonable tank, and I'm yet to run out of this first tank of fuel, but I'll find out how much you'll do in the tank. But it looks like from the electronics that I'm getting about 160 miles out of a tank, you know, real world, so I think that's pretty good. Seat height, 825 millimeters, which sounds quite high, but because of the way it's sculpted in, it's quite narrow. And in fact, even if you're a shorty like me, it's, you know, you can get your feet flat on the ground, no problem at all. It's got 5 riding modes in that electronics package: Sport, Road, Rain, Rider and Track, with different levels of configuration. They do the things that you would expect them to do. I've got it in Sport mode at the moment. It's got switchable ABS and traction control, so you can turn it off if you want to be a particular hooligan. They've even fitted self-cancelling indicators on this model, which is a great thing. If, like me, you often forget to cancel your indicators. It's got one of those Triumph assist and slip clutches, which makes for a very, very light action and really reduces the engine braking, makes it a pleasure to ride. And in terms of the on-the-road cost, it's £9,900, so you know, less than 10 grand for all this bike. It's amazing the amount of technology that Triumph have been able to throw at this machine and still keep it under 10 grand. They've done a top job in that respect. There are, of course, other models available in the Street Triple range, starting off with the Street Triple S, and there's even an A2 license friendly version with a 660cc engine available, or at least in this country. Then there's the normal S, there's the Street Triple R and the RS, and there's also low ride height models for the R and the S version as well, if you're particularly vertically challenged. Anyway, just so that's it for the spec. Let's just have a little look around at some of the features. It's got that lovely raised lettering that Triumph do on the tanks now. Looks really good. The build quality is lovely. It's got Triumph here in the top clamp, which I like. It's got those little touches that Triumph do now, like on the engine cases. It's got this kind of rambunctious looking flag, which looks brilliant. One of the things I'm not so keen on is the way they've done the two-tone engine colouring. You know, they've got this black bit here, and then they've gone for grey here. Now, it's got a lovely finish to the engine, some sort of coating, powder coating they've put on it, but I'm not sure the two-tone engine looks that good, but there we go. Obviously some styling changes. Back end looks a little bit different to what I'm used to. Not sure actually the back end works that well, and that hideous number plate hanger would definitely need to be changed out. But otherwise, yeah, lovely bike. Triumph's usual high quality build. Maybe not quite so impressive as some of the retro ones I've ridden, but you know, no complaints as far as the quality is concerned. Okay, enough chatting about the bike. Let's jump back on and ride her some more. The stand on these is nice and easy to kick up. When you start her up, you get this little start up routine on here, which is all very nice. Love the look of that. And it's got like an auto contrast situation, so it's quite dull today, so this is in the sort of night mode if you like, but it changes to a white background when it brightens up. Like all Triumphs, you have to pull the clutch in to start her up. Oh, there we go, it's decided it's brighter. Look, it's gone to the white mode. You don't have to have that in auto contrast. If you don't like it keep changing, you can set it yourself, of course. Yeah, this is turned now into well, it always was a hooligan bike, but it's a proper hooligan bike, and it's very, very easy to ride. The gearbox, very nice indeed, nice and snickable as I would call it, and it fitted with this quick shifter that works a treat. It's just a shame it's an up quick shifter only and doesn't go down as well, although you can do clutchless down shifts quite easily, although I don't like to do that because if you get it wrong you can obviously damage your gearbox. Even though the bike is very light, it feels very stable in the corners. I don't know what the boffins at Triumph have done with the geometry on it, but it just has lost some of that kind of instability that it felt in the corners before, and now as it goes around it just tracks really true and really flat as you're riding, to be honest. In terms of wind buffet, well, of course it's a naked bike, so you're in full blast of the wind, but it's got this little sort of cowling, I guess you'd call it, around the LCD that maybe makes some difference, but whatever, you don't get any turbulent air in your face, which is the main thing. So I'm sure on motorways and so on you're going to start to have to hang on once you get at sort of above 70 miles an hour, but for normal riding like this around normal roads there is no issue with weather protection whatsoever. It's a normal naked bike, and there's no turbulent air coming at you at all, so it's really nice in that respect. Just going to test that back brake now. Yeah, well, it does work, but it's not in the same league as the front brake, it has to be said. The switchgear on the bike all makes kind of logical sense. It's changed a lot over the years. It's now these sort of what I call PCB switches, in that they're not sort of real proper tactile big switches, but they're ones that just kind of touch contacts on little printed circuit boards behind, which is a bit of a shame because I'm not a big fan of those. I've got those sort of switches on my GS, and they are prone to sticking after a few years. I don't know whether these will be any different, but I suspect they won't be. But they're quite logically laid out. It makes sense how it works. You've got this little joystick here, which is for changing the various displays on the screen, which I'll go through another time. And then all the usual stuff, and then you've got this button here marked M, which is what changes the engine modes, and as usual you just click through to what mode you want, then you bring the clutch in, close the throttle, and it selects the next riding mode for you. So that's quite easy, and of course you can do that on the fly, and it remembers the last mode you're in, so you don't have to set it up every time you jump on the bike. It just continues where you left off. On the right hand handlebar you've got this button down here on the right hand side at the bottom, which is the home button, and basically again that's one of the functions for controlling the display. It just takes you back to the home screen no matter where you are, so keeps things nice and easy. So basically I'm going to ride the pants off this bike for the next few weeks, and I'm going to be doing lots of additional update videos on it. I'm going to do a direct comparison between this and my older street triple, just to look at some of the things where the bike has really improved, or maybe not. I will do a video, I hope, just on the TFT screen and take you through the functions on that, so stay tuned for that as well. As well as after a few weeks of actually living with the machine, I will do one of my living with videos to talk about some of the practical aspects of owning and living with the Triumph Street Triple. I'm pleased to see that Triumph have done away with those horrible plastic brake reservoirs that they used to put on, the little white ones that looked really cheap and nasty. They've got this also probably quite cheap plastic one now, but it's see-through. It looks a bit more classy than the ones they used to have. Not as nice as the anodised reservoirs. I think this bike with this spec probably deserves that, so if I bought one of these then I'd definitely stick the anodised brake reservoir on. Also on this RS it's got some fairly trick levers, adjustable. It looks like they are actual Brembo levers as well, adjustable for span, and work really nicely together with the lightness of the controls, particularly that clutch. All the new Triumphs now seem to have really light clutches, and it just makes the riding experience that much easier. Hello, lots of bikers out today. Really is quite intoxicating, the engine noise on this and its performance. Thursday market day in Wendover town. Well, the markets always look so good. I don't know, something about them. Right, let's do a tight turn here. Wait, thank you. Nothing wrong with the turning circle on the bike, which is something that the old bike used to be terrible at. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my initial impressions review of the 2017 Triumph Street Triple RS. As I say, lots more to come, but just my first thoughts on the bike. I am biased, I guess, because I'm obviously a bit of a Triumph fan, and also I'm a Street Triple fan, so take all that into account. But my summary of the bike is it's just a fantastic little bike. They've improved it in every way. Reviews and things that I've read and seen have all said the same, but it's very much is the case. Instantly noticeable is the nicer handling of the bike. Of course, it's got amazing top spec mechanical bits and pieces in terms of the brakes and the suspension on it. Really now a quality machine, and with the big electronics package as well that Triumph have thrown on the bike, it's really brought the Street Triple bang up to date, and for less than 10 grand, stonking value for money as well, I think. So really looking forward to getting to know this bike well over the next few weeks, and bringing some more videos to you about what it's like to live with the Triumph Street Triple RS. Opportunity knocks. So that's about it for now, folks. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Best of Them Flyer. Cheerio.